Good afternoon from St. Augustine, Florida. We're here today to go into the Colonial experience inside the Colonial quarters. We're going to see some living history today. I wanted to say a huge thank you to the Colonial Quarter for having us out to show it to you guys. We are excited to show you what is involved and learn a little bit about the history of St. Augustine. The Sweet Spot Creamery here in St. Augustine has all of these ridiculous looking milkshakes. Wow, they look so good. Also, edible cookie dough scoops. Oh, I was wrong. This is not a milkshake. This is a sundae. So these are just scoops of ice cream in there. Wow. That looks awesome. We have a little bit of time before our tour of the Colonial experience, so we're just kind of walking around. There's an ice cream stand here that sells Dole Whip. So many interesting spots in St. Augustine. Like this restaurant is just upstairs in this building. And then there's a giant water mill back here. Whoa, look at that. So here we are in the Colonial quarters. And we're gonna go on a tour right now. He just told us that if we keep this sticker, that it's a lifetime membership.
They're good for the rest of
like if I bring this sticker back in 2 years, I can come back in for free.
This tour is vetted by the University of Florida. It's the only tour in St. Augustine vetted by a university. All of the information that you are going to hear is backed up by science and scholarship rather than folklore and hearsay. And that's an important point here in the ancient city.
Ooh, we're over here by the cannon.
We're going to see something they've never seen before. I'm going to focus the heat of the sun to a point that's going to light this on fire. And it's only going to take about 10 minutes. Once the gunpowder and the projectile was loaded into the muzzle, it would be packed gently but firmly into the breech. La Esperanza, bate fuego, cañón! Sopa la mecha, por España! Fuego!
Good God.
Viva San Agustín! We're with the Augustine Inn Airbnb. So far we're ahead on cannon shots and they're ahead on calls to the police department.
We're headed over to see the musket demonstration.
Gunpowder's loaded down the muzzle. Por España! Cover your ears! Fuego!
Well, that was a really interesting tour. They went through and kind of showed us almost like a crash course of the history of St. Augustine. We got to see the cannon fire, and he explained that this is a 3-pound cannon. This is one of the smaller cannons that they have, and he only filled it with about 2 tablespoons of gunpowder. Normally, if you were firing a cannonball out of this, you would fill it with at least a pound of gunpowder. So it really made a big boom, even with just that little bit of gunpowder. Something else that I found out is that this replica of a ship was built by an actual shipwright. That's pretty darn impressive. So this is built in the correct fashion of a ship. Wow. Oh, and there's a little replica of it right there. There's a walkway of flags here. So like this is the flag of the Spanish Empire. And then there's the new Spanish flag of St. Andrew. And then Sir Francis Drake came in and he burned down the city. And then England came in and got it back from Sir Francis Drake. And then another Spanish flag. And then it became part of the United States. This is the 23-star Florida territorial map, the 27-star American flag, the 7 stars and bars Confederate flag. So this was during the Civil War. And then the 11 stars and bars Confederate flag. And now we have the Florida state flag and the American flag. There are some anchors out here, some gigantic anchors, and then a little campsite here. So you can see what a campsite would look like for somebody that was here in the 1800s. Another thing that they said is that this house, this pink house, is an original house. So this was built in 1820, or it is the fashion that it was in 1820. Maybe that was the last remodel. I'll have to read some more about it. But all of the other buildings along this street are recreations of the buildings that were here in the 1700s. They are in the spot where the buildings were, but this is the only one that is still standing from the 1800s. Ah, yes, you can see here it was built in 1740, but then in the 1820s it was remodeled to this. And it had rooms added and everything. Let's see what it's like inside. Ooh. I thought that was a real person. It's not. Wow. Oh, okay, so in 1821, this room and that room were added in 1821, and we're just getting older as we go. So this is the second edition with the stairs. And then we are headed into the original house or the first edition. I'll have to look at it. Oh yeah, this is the first edition. So this was added to the original house. And then over here is the actual original house. Right there, these few rooms. So this is it. This is the only thing that was added in the first edition, was just another room with a fireplace. When the house was first built, it was just this entryway and this room. Oh, and you can kind of see they have models. So this is the first house. This is with the first edition. This is with the second edition, so it did get the second story during the second edition. And then this is the third edition. This is really interesting. I'd like to know when this photo was taken. They said we can go up into the watchtower and get a good view all around St. Augustine. Oh, and there's little numbers here that if you stand in them and face the direction of the number, it'll tell you what you're looking at. So number 10, 24 Cathedral Place. Right there. Number 1 is the inlet to the Atlantic Ocean. Straight out there. This is actually a really good view. Good vantage point of any ships coming in to attack the fort here. So I just took a break to have some lunch, and it was a business lunch, so I didn't show you guys any of it, but this place right here, Taberna del Caballo, this 1565 cheeseburger, probably one of the best cheeseburgers I've ever had in my life. It was so good. So after lunch, I came back into the Colonial quarter to kind of look around a little bit more. What's this? The printing office. Well, that's interesting. They have a printing press in here. Oh, and look, they have newspapers up here. Replicas of what newspapers would have looked like. And now that we're done with the Colonial experience, we're gonna do a little bit of walking around because we've got a pirate dinner show / magic show later on tonight. We're just gonna kind of do some exploring around St. Augustine. You know what I've never done? Never been on a sailboat. This one's actually sailing right here. I did have somebody back when I was younger offered to teach me to sail, but then they broke their arm so they couldn't do it, so I never learned to sail. Came across the street from the fort and we're right next to a cemetery. This is the Huguenot Cemetery. I always like to look and see. This is a gravestone from 1881. I don't know what road this is, but it is definitely crowded. I think this is St. George Street. Look at this lady. She doesn't even have a name. She's like a witch, I'm guessing. So some sort of fortune teller. You gotta put in $1 and then select your birth sign, and then she'll print out a card. Or no, she just tells you. She doesn't print out a card. There's a press penny machine back here next to Zoltan. You can get the Old City Gate, Chief Saturwa, St. Augustine Blackbeard, or St. Augustine a Cutlass. Oh, and you don't have to put your own penny in. You just give it $1 and it uses a blank piece of copper and presses out your penny. Ooh, the Panama Hat Company. I thought that this was something interesting about this whole street is that you can see here it says circa 1764, recognized as a restored colonial structure. So this is not like this building wasn't here. They rebuilt it in this place to match what it looked like in 1764. But then this one, on the other hand, you could see this, an original house on the historic, but this one also says that it was recognized as restored. Kind of interested to figure out what the heck that means. Because, like, when was it restored? Is this original to what it looked like in 1764? Actually, it's kind of an interesting story. In 1958, they started restoring it, and then in 1962 it was authenticated historically and archaeologically, and now it has been listed in the Library of Congress as a historical American building. You know what's really funny is I walked down here earlier just to get a feel for the area, and they hadn't poured this step yet. Now they have. So we were just pointing up at this, and the step that was poured is just on the other side of this wall, but look at that. I wonder what this was. It's big, whatever it was. Yeah, party like it's 1565 in St. Augustine, Florida. Sparkly mermen. Merman, Dad, merman. The Columbia restaurant, isn't there another one of these over in Sarasota? Isn't it like a very famous restaurant? I think there might be one in Orlando too. Oh, there's just a car driving through. Also, look at this place. I know that a lot of people that live in older cities are probably used to seeing these things, but I don't live in an older city. I don't know about you guys, but when I think of Serenity, I think of a Kraken. Well, I came down the little hallway that Serenity Blue was, and I found this. The Medieval Torture Museum. Yes, we'll definitely be coming back to go up to the Medieval Torture Museum one day. Look at that. Looks scary up there. We're going down St. George's Road. It's almost like a flea market. Magnet Force. This place is called the Steampunk Trunk. Lots of different steampunk. Oh, look at this thing. Also, I love this. They have pressed pennies, but they don't tell you, oh, here it is. Get Ponce de Leon, St. George's Row, or I love you, St. Augustine. Here's this old lady again, but she's dressed different here. Well, that's interesting. And then it dead ends into a restaurant. Ooh, we could buy a motorcycle while we're over here. Look at that. Looks just like the one that I used to have. Except for mine didn't have this blue on it, mine was just black. On this site, where the Opera House once stood, Frederick Douglass spoke to the residents of St. Augustine on April 7th, 1889. Well, that's pretty interesting. I'm guessing that was somewhere around here. Materialistic? Yeah, this is awesome. Pretty strange, actually. This is a pretty random fresh produce shop. What? See, this is sort of what I was talking about with that other place. The stone walls of this building date from 1750. So the walls are from 1750. And by the way, I don't know which house that is. Maybe this one, but I'm not really sure. Also, maybe this one? I don't know. The actual house is not from 1750, but the outside walls are, or some portion of wall is. I feel like since the last time that we were here, they have added a lot of different shops and refurbished a lot of the outsides of these buildings. This area is called Heritage Walk. A bunch of different shops in here, including a Tervis tumbler shop. Ooh, more pressed pennies. There are a lot of cigar shops and people smoking cigars in the street. This one happens to be one where the guy actually rolls cigars in the shop. Zoltan the Pirate. This looks more like it. And just like the other place that was like a flea market, you end up at a restaurant. Ooh, you can dress like a pirate. This is where you come to buy all your pirate stuff. Or, if you want to, you can dress like a pirate and then have your picture taken here in this studio. Yeah. That way it looks like you are in a saloon. One of the things that we have to come back and visit one time for sure is Flagler College. This used to be a hotel, and now it's a college. Built by Henry Flagler, who is the man who built a railroad from here down to Key West. I like how there's just a chicken inside of this fire truck right now. Pretty bizarre. Another thing we have to come up and visit is the Lightner Museum. I don't know what this used to be, but apparently it's beautiful on the inside. There's a world's largest, or what used to be the world's largest indoor swimming pool. It's like the entire bottom floor, I think. It's been a long time since I've done any research on the Lightner Museum, but we'll definitely have to be back for that one. I feel like this used to be part of the Lightner building, but now it's just, I think, apartments and then shops down below. There are these trains, like trolley trains, that go around the city, and you can see a whole bunch of people are waiting for the next one to come. It's a pretty easy and convenient way to get around the city. There's one right there. Oh, this place is called the Victorian House, and it's a bed and breakfast. Still low tide. Are these oysters? Whatever they are, they look very painful if I were to like walk out there on them. Also, there's a pirate ship out there. You guys may or may not know this, but I absolutely love walking out onto docks and marinas. Oh, there's some boats from the St. Augustine Fire Department, St. Johns County Sheriff's Department. This is a beautiful looking boat. Also, this one's very nice too. I like the name of this boat. It's funny to me. Also, look, there's the pirate ship. I feel like the last time that I came out here, I came out and looked at this very same pirate ship. This is pretty interesting. It's also very tall, and it doesn't seem like it could be this tall based on how little of it is in the water. It's all coming back to me. I feel like the last time that I was out here, I was in this exact same location, looking out at this exact same waterway, and I saw dolphins. But I'm not seeing any right now. I feel like anytime I'm near a marina, I tell you guys this, but I know I'm not near marinas very often, but there was a point in our lives where Jen and I were seriously considering buying a houseboat and living in a marina. Glad we didn't. Would have been an adventure, but I don't think it would have been very comfortable. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. There is a full-out mini golf course out here by the waterway. So just to give you guys an idea of what I meant, something like this. This was back when the housing market was way up and all the houses in Florida were super expensive, but houseboats, they weren't too bad, especially if you got one from like the 90s or the 80s. This one's very new and very nice. It wouldn't have been this nice. Maybe more along the lines of this. Oh, there's one of those jellyfish right there, trying to find his way out. These are called cannonball jellyfish. Sea turtles love to eat these things. Also, another fun fact about those jellyfish, their tentacles, their stingers, are not powerful enough to get through human skin, so you can pick them up. The horses are out here getting a water break, cooling off after a nice trip around the block. It really is beautiful out here. I wonder if these houses out here are available like a bed and breakfast or like an Airbnb, or if they're just super expensive houses out here. They look pretty big. When we were over here earlier, there was $10 down there. Looks like somebody was brave enough to go down into the mud and get it. These crabs are awesome. Like, you can't really see them, but then the more you look, the more it looks like the ground is just moving. How much fun is that? I like that there's just some Weezer playing in the background, very faintly, as we look at Castillo de San Marcos. St. Augustine pigeon pecking at the ground, just trying to get a little bit of sustenance. Right? It's like a super group of St. Augustine pigeons. So I don't think that the fact that this is here is what is most interesting about St. Augustine or the old buildings. I think it's the fact that there are old buildings in St. Augustine and there aren't old buildings basically anywhere else. St. Augustine is the oldest city in Florida, the oldest continually occupied city in Florida. We have also done a video on this Ripley's Believe It or Not. We'll put a link to that in the description down below. I think that this is one of the oldest Ripley's Believe It or Nots in the country, and it also has the largest collection. All right, now that we've done a little bit of exploring around St. Augustine, it's time to head to our dinner show, our pirate-themed magic dinner show. Let's do it. All right, here we are at Ocean Avenue Sports Bar and Grill. We're heading inside to see a magic show. Oh, I got my spot for the magic show. This is what we got. Get some tea and lemonade. They brought out a salad to begin with. They brought out some beef au jus and then some kind of shrimp here, which I don't eat shrimp, so I'm not gonna eat that shrimp. This beef was pretty darn good. I didn't even need a knife. I just used my fork to pull it apart. Like slow cooked beef au jus. Thinking back on what they said, I believe that this is a daddle pepper shrimp. Some sort of spicy shrimp. Got about 5 minutes to showtime. Then we get to see some pirate magic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome very much to Ocean Avenue. It is time for a little bit of magic now. Do you like magic? Say aye. Aye. Very good. Yeah! There's the card. Ladies and gentlemen, there's Colby's card, the Ace of Clubs. Ladies and gentlemen, give Colby a big hand. Would any of you lovely ladies have a ring that you would entrust me with for just a few moments? A ring. I am going to have you place the ring in my goblet. Making sure you didn't steal it. I know how you are with jewelry. What's your name, lovely? The story now goes further, for you see, we have a locket. This locket was given to me by a very lovely, mysterious witch, but she had one of her very own. and she could write me a note. And she could put it in her locket, wherever she was in the world. And I would hear a small bell, and I could go to that locket and open it up, and the note would be in there from her. This was early airmail, ladies and gentlemen. Now, your ring can actually do that. Watch. Very close. Let go. So much for your ring. It's gone. You hear that? Is that your ring, lady? Ladies and gentlemen, there is her ring. Give her a big hand. As I run down the cards like that, I want you to say stop as loud as you can, anywhere in the deck. Stop. We're going to cut the cards into 2 stacks. Take that card right there from there. Don't tell me what it is. Hang on to it. Place them in the deck. I want you to take these cards. Very good. You take the cards. I want you to put them in the mouth of that cannon right there. Are you ready, Jessica?
Aye, Captain.
Are you ready, audience?
Aye.
How about some music, maestro? Something exciting.
1, 2, 3, 4.
How are you? Queen of clubs? Yeah. Queen of hearts? Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it.
Well, that was a really fun show. The little bit of context behind that, after talking to Captain Mayhem after the show, I did find out that St. Augustine kind of slows down at night. There are a lot of ghost tours that happen around St. Augustine at night, so Captain Mayhem, being the showman that he is, decided that this would be a great thing for families to do on a Friday night for those families that might not want to do a ghost tour. The kids loved Captain Mayhem. Like, he really played it up to the kids. The kids were all involved, and I don't know, they just had a good time. It was a fantastic show. I do highly recommend it. It's only happening on Fridays, and they're hoping to do it through 2020. So right now you can book it on Eventbrite, but it's only scheduled 3 months out because Eventbrite only lets you schedule 3 months at a time. And I believe it's $38, and that includes dinner. So it included the salad and the beef that I got and the shrimp and a lemonade, a water, or an iced tea, and then you can get sodas and other drinks for a little bit extra, and then you still have to tip on top of the $38, but still. They also said that this is the only dinner show in all of St. Augustine. So wanted to give a huge thank you to Captain Mayhem for having us out and letting us show you guys a little bit of the show so that you guys can come out and check it out for yourselves if you're in St. Augustine on a Friday night. And with that being said, we are off. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
I'm Humberto.
I'm also Humberto.
We're from Puerto Rico, and now it's time to pay the price.